you to understand a little bit about more what's going on there. So Facebook Live or YouTube Live is finally up. It has taken long enough. But so yeah, streaming on 3 platforms right now, streaming on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live. If anybody has any questions, this is the 200 YouTube subscriber celebration live chat. Potatoes could have been too deep or not sprouted enough. So Brandon or Matt chimed in for my potato issue. Potatoes could have been too deep or not sprouted enough. That is a very big possibility. I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning on a potato front. The funny thing is, my wife's Aunt Cindy, you'll see her in some of the videos with the garden. She's been phenomenal helping us out. I don't know, I wouldn't have nearly the garden I have this year if it wasn't for her, but she actually brought potatoes that she had bought at the store, didn't get around to eating them, and they started to eye out, and they started to grow. They were 4, 5, 6 inches, and that row grew perfect. So yeah, I can see that. I didn't know if it was a fertilizer thing or what, but next year hopefully we'll get a little bit better on the potato front. Cabbage, it's one of the things that I saw today that I was pretty surprised with in the garden was the cabbage actually split right across the top. I don't know if it's because it had been so dry that once it got a drink yesterday in the rainstorm, it took all that water in and split it or what, but cabbage looks phenomenal. Broccoli looks great. All that stuff is doing really, really well. So I'm going to move this over here. My daughters are going to be playing in their pool. Watered it too much too fast. Yeah, that was the rain we got yesterday. I don't know what happened there, but tomatoes look fantastic. Hot peppers fantastic. Bell peppers fantastic. Really, really happy with the green beans we planted this year. I talked to a friend of mine, actually, Pete Bozick from out in Uniontown, and he bought seed from a local store. I'll just keep the store nameless. He bought corn seed off of a local store here and had terrible, terrible germination. Went back and talked to them, and I guess that whole batch of Silver King was bad. Was a bad batch. I saw somebody comment, Mary comment, hey, we need a nice easy rain. We do, and we need more than 0.15 in a clip. We need a little bit more. I can look at the ground right now, and I even told my wife earlier, we were chatting about it. I said, even with the rain yesterday, the ground is still super dry. So yeah, we shot a little bit today about the update in the garden. We shot a little bit of update with the pigs. Pigs are doing well. It's pretty funny. We let the pigs out, to run around a little bit. And as soon as they come out, man, they're gone. I see my buddy Eric posted last week we had rain about every other day, just missed another shower. Well, Eric, I wish you'd send some over our way. I know that is the furthest thing from what I would have told you in March and April, but it is dry in the southwest side of the state. So Eric Elm, Custom Harvesting, and the Farming Life on YouTube. If you haven't seen his channel, go check it out. The Farming Life, fantastic guy, runs a very tight operation over there. Barns are awesome. Animals are awesome. Raising those kids up right. Go check him out if you haven't. Subscribe to his channel. He's got great videos. He actually just started milking some cows. He's definitely doing it the hard way. And hats off to you, fella, because that's a hard life. But yeah, So thanks for joining, Eric. Appreciate it. So we did an update on the pigs. Pigs are growing well. Using a local feed store, Chuck's Mobile Milling. He's actually the one that cooked up the feed. He calls it 007. It's his show feed. Those pigs, because of everything that's going on in with COVID and everything else, and the fairs being shut down. When I called my butcher shop that I deal with all the time, Weary's Provisions in Scott, LPA, they only had one time left for getting the pigs butchered, and those pigs will be going the first week in August. So I had to put fat on them quick, put meat on them quick, and that's when they're going to be heading out. So about another 5 weeks, we'll be taking those pigs to butcher. So I just got a text message from my wife's aunt, Aunt Cindy. She went and bought peaches today, and she made some peach jam. She was pretty excited about it. So I'm kind of anxious. I just got that text. She got 16 jars that she put up today. So that'll be some pretty good stuff. One of the things we talked about already was the beer. I know a lot of people probably don't brew custom beer, and I never thought that we would. But with everything that's going on in these current times, can't really go out to enjoy yourself. It seems like, going to a restaurant and all that is sometimes pretty hectic. So one of the things my brother-in-law and I, Dave, we talked about doing was, in our off time, let's try brewing some beer. We did, and so we got, like I said, we had the watermelon wheat that's going into secondary fermentation. We got the Dunkelweizen going into secondary fermentation. The amber, American amber, that's actually going to be able to be drank when we bottle those other two. So that is in bottles today. On deck, we have hard cider, like Woodchucks, or Red's Apple Ale, kind of like that. We have an American Light. We have, it's called Dead Ringer IPA, and it actually is very close to what Bell's Two-Hearted Ale is like. If you've ever had that, it's from Michigan. It's a fruity IPA, and then a lemon shandy. So those are the ones that are on deck that we'll be getting ready to brew up. I got a question from Elm. How's the hay looking for second crop? Well, if we don't get any more rain, it's not looking good. I can tell you that. We need rain, and we need a lot of it. Right now, I'd say it's a little bit over ankle, the stuff that I cut early. The field that's right there was the first field that was cut off. Field that's down below my garden is the second. And then the top one, which was the 14-acre piece, and the 6-acre piece over here was my third fields that we've taken off. And then the fourth was the stuff that we took off the back end of the farm. I actually was just up there. It's, when you jump out and start walking, it's pretty crunchy. So not looking good for second. I'm going to be way behind on second. Got to wait for that rain to make it work. Yeah, Eric said it's really hard for me to find a butcher. We're going to smoke one on July 18th. Yeah, it is pretty hard right now. A lot of people, they don't know if COVID's coming back or what, and people are really looking for that custom butchered beef straight from the farm. It's a good thing, but yeah, it is really hard to find a butcher that can take anything right now. A lot of the things that was going on, farmers were dumping milk. Pork processors couldn't get their pork to the butchers because they had shut the packing plants down. You had, 10, 20, 30,000 hogs that had nowhere to go. And the farms were just losing money. The more, more feed they give them, the less their profit margins are. They're trying to, time that up that new ones come in while old ones are going out. And the whole supply chain was just disrupted with COVID. And so you had farms from out west, mid-east or Midwest, and they would, have a truckload of pigs that they'd sell for pennies on the dollar just to try to get rid of them. And, farms from out this way and people from out this way would drive out there, pick up, 100, 200, 300 pigs, and then bring them back and butcher them and try to sell them out. So, when you're getting tractor trailer loads of pigs that are getting delivered to local butcher shops to get taken care of, it can definitely be an issue. Yeah, Eric said missed strawberry picking, so we did too. We actually went to a farm out closer to Pittsburgh, and they give you the option that you can pick strawberries or pick wildflowers. So we didn't make it for the strawberry picking, but we did pick 2 bouquets of wildflowers. So that was pretty cool. It was a really nice farm. I don't remember what the name of it was. Well, hey, what was the name of that farm we visited? Simmons Farm in McMurray, PA. It was really nice. Shout out to that place. They got it. They got a really nice setup. They probably had 3,000-4,000 trees planted, fruit trees. Do I have any big future plans to grow the farm? So, yes, I do. For me, though, growth comes slowly because, for those of you who don't know, work full time. I work for an oil and gas company in southwestern PA. My wife works full time. My father-in-law works full time. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law work full time. The only full-time farmer in our family is my wife. In 2015, we got rid of the cows, and we switched over to freezer beef, and we've always kept goats. Getting back to the question on do I have any future plans to grow the farm? Yes, my plans are more of a niche kind of farming, more for hay at this point in time. Corn prices are too low for me to try to find a market around here. Not to mention, I only have, about 135 acres that's here, and that includes pastures and stuff. So farmable, it's probably around 100-ish. But yeah, that it is. He said it's really a shame that if you want to farm, you have to work in another job to make a go at it. And yeah, it is. I wish there's parts of me that wish I didn't have to put a suit and tie on every day, or I don't put a suit and tie on, but you know what I mean. Visit the corporate world to make a go at it. But there's also, I've been blessed to work for a pretty awesome company over the years, and it's really given me the opportunities to grow, just in what I've done in the last couple of years. In 2018, I bought a hay barn, or I bought a tractor. In 2019, I bought my 630 Moco. So really, all the revenue that comes in, I'm trying to put it back out there to get nicer equipment on the farm. I think before I try to expand any type of operation other than what I can do right now, I need to update some of the equipment to make sure it doesn't have to be new now, but I need to update some of the equipment to make sure that it's a pretty easy go at it, and less downtime, less breakdowns, etc. So no, appreciate that. As much as I'd love to grow this thing into a bigger operation, it's baby steps for me at this point. I gotta work on updating the arsenal of equipment first. I appreciate that, Eric. He said, I really enjoy watching your videos, the challenges that you go through with your family to make farming work out for you. Yeah, The whole reason I started this YouTube channel was a lot of the conversations that I was having at work. So I worked right outside of Pittsburgh up until, COVID hit. Now I work out of home and work out of my work truck. But I'd have conversations with a lot of folks at lunchtime. We have a little cafeteria on each floor, and a conversation would always come up. Oh, what are you going to do this weekend? Well, my response would be, I'm either going to go hunting, I'm canning, I'm making hay, I'm doing something. And to see the look on some of the folks' face, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean make hay? That's kind of what got me into this whole ordeal, was just to show people a little bit different perspective. Not every person lives in a downtown Manhattan setting. We live pretty rurally. My closest neighbors are my mother-in-law up the hill about 400 yards, my sister-in-law about the same distance, and then my neighbors down the street are probably 2,000 feet or so. The only reason I know that is because I had to run a water line down to them to get city water up here, and we had to dig it ourselves. So, but yeah, this is, when my wife and I got married and we came to my mother-in-law and father-in-law and, said we wanted to raise our family on the farm. There's a reason for that, right? It's peaceful out here. Teaches our kids the value of a good day's honest work, and wouldn't change it for anything. Sean in Alaska said, not sure I've ever caught your live before. Congrats on 200. Yep. Never have been, or never have done a Facebook live before. I figured I hit 210 subscribers, 211 today, actually. Yeah. Facebook live, YouTube live. I hit 211 subscribers today. We were going to try to do this at 200. It just didn't work out. There's just so much going on. I think when I hit 200, I was actually mowing hay, if memory serves me correctly. But no, I appreciate it, Sean. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate the views. I got a question from Mary. She said, I need to appreciate all local farmers. Yeah, I appreciate that. Farming is a way of life because people enjoy what they're doing. If you're not, I personally did not grow up on a farm. I grew up in a town called Bell Vernon. And I didn't actually go to Bell Vernon High School. I went to a Catholic high school, went to Catholic school my whole life, and then a Christian college in Waynesburg University. But yep, went to Catholic high school up in Connellsville, PA. It's where I met my wife. We started dating in 2002, and we got married in 2011. Had an ant on me. But yeah, so I was not raised into farming. This is, my daughters would be fourth generation on this farm. So it's something that I've always wanted to do. Wish just as everybody else. Sean said 212 when I came in. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's not something that I wasn't born on this farm. My wife was. This was her grandmother's house. And after her grandmother passed, I don't remember what year it was, house sat empty for a while. And after we got married, we decided to remodel it and move on to the farm. So yeah, very, very fortunate. Amen to wanting to share that love with your kids. Yep. So right now, my daughters are actually filling up a kiddie pool with water, and they're going to be swimming right behind my truck. My oldest got a life vest on, like she's jumping into Lake Erie, even though it's a kiddie pool. It's funny. Quick story. Our oldest daughter hates water, hates getting her hair washed. it's a battle the youngest one is like a fish. It doesn't matter. She'll just slam her head right down into the water and blow bubbles. That's just the way that she is. I got Sean in here. Hi, Sean. So really, Farming Life said, after going through this fire, makes you really think we can actually survive if everything would shut down. As a farmer, I would say yes. So it's very important to me to teach my children how to survive the next generation. Yep. Yeah, so that's a really big thing with me too. So I hunt a fair amount, probably more than my wife cares for every once in a while. But the ability to raise a garden, can hunt. A lot of people probably think I'm like a doomsday prepper, but that's not the case at all. Just want to know where my food comes from. You know, um, not have to worry. You know, some kids nowadays grow up and they think that stuff grows at Walmart. They just go to Walmart and get whatever they want, and that's furthest from the truth. So if I can raise my kids to show them how to grow their own garden, hunt, fish, etc., I think I've done a good job. Yeah, we need a pond out. Well, it's if we did have a pond, I don't know how much water it would hold because this whole place is nothing but a stone quarry with topsoil on it. Hence the name Rocky Acres Farmstead. I don't know what it is about our township, but this farm has a ton of rocks on it. And when I was digging my water line from my house to about the fence row where our lower pasture field starts, smooth digging, no problems. I hit that lower pasture field. Oh man, it was nothing but rocks the whole way. So a pond would be nice, but I think it'd be an issue. Yeah, yeah. So when I was growing up, my grandfather on my mom's side, he always grew a garden, and I know it's gonna sound like a pretty weird story, but he lost his arm in a work accident at the elbow, so couldn't tie knots. So every year he would plant a garden, and when I was old enough, that was my job. I would go over to his apartment, which was in the town. It's not a city; we'll call it a town. And I would till up his garden for him. He would plant it, and then I would come back throughout the summer and I would tie tomato plants for him. So that was like the real first time that I ever had, messed with a garden. My parents never really grew a garden. I mean, we had a small one, but it wasn't like my paps. My paps was a little bit bigger. So that was really like my first thing to getting into a garden. And then I had a friend, Adam. Adam would grow a garden every year, and then he would can. And I had never canned. My pap never canned. It was always kind of like he would grow all this stuff and then just give it away. So my buddy Adam would can. So a couple of years I would help him out, and I started growing my own little garden, like 20 plants, nothing crazy. But we would put all of our gardening, our garden bounties together, and we would make salsa or spaghetti sauce or whatever we would do. So when we moved here in 2011, the first thing I did was tilled up a garden, or killed a spot in the yard, which used to be her grandfather's garden, killed that spot and started to till it up. And every year it's just progressively kept getting bigger. I think the first year I planted here was like 90 tomato plants, maybe something like that. And that was a little bit crazy. Well, then the following year we were at 120, then 125, then 130, then 140. And then this year we just went all in. We went to 200 some tomato plants this year. Actually, there's more because we ended up getting 4 cherry tomatoes at the very end of the season. But yeah, that was just kind of how I got into gardening. It was at a super young age, but never really had my own garden until I moved in My wife and I moved into our house in 2011, and then every year it's just progressively kept getting bigger and bigger. And the plastic, I keep putting more and more plastic down. And this year, everything besides the potatoes and a couple rows of green beans at the top of the garden has plastic. And let me tell you, it's pretty awesome not having the weed around the tomatoes and all that other stuff. So, but yeah. So I've got 7 on Facebook Live. I've got 2 on YouTube Live, and I had a couple on Instagram, but seem to have disappeared. So really, this is out to you guys. If you have any questions, I just wanted to discuss a little bit with you guys on what was going on. Another thing that we looked at today was the bees. So good buddy Nathan Warwick from Mountain Spring Bees. He's got a website. Check it out. I think it's mountainspringbees.com. He's local to us. He's from Connellsville, PA. Yes, I am streaming on 3 separate platforms at one time. It's I've got 3 cameras, so that's what I'm trying to. There's one here, and one there. So, So back to the bees. Yeah, Mountain Spring Bees. He came out and dropped 9 boxes on the farm. So he came, I think it was last week sometime. I wasn't home. My mother-in-law and everybody got to talk to him a little bit, and he went up and treated them. I don't know. I don't have Rich Life in here. He's out riding a motorcycle somewhere. But he treated the bees for mites or lice or something along those lines. I'm not sure what. He sent me a text message, and I can't look at it because it's on one of my platforms right here. But he sent me a message that it's something with an S, acid, that treats the bees for mites. And he was up here. I did get to look a little bit. Bees look great coming in and out. I mean, it's busy up there. You got bees coming in and out. If you walk through there, you've got bees bouncing off of you. And for someone who personally doesn't care for flying, stinging insects, honeybees are probably about the easiest thing because they don't care not a one about you. For those of you, I'm just going to show those on, let's see, we'll show everybody on YouTube real quick. But I actually have a bee box right there. And I'll see if I can do this. Right in the yard. So that tree ended up having bees on it or go inside of it, and I didn't know what to do. So I called a bunch of people, and Nathan was the only guy that came out and said, "Oh, I'll try to get them out of there." And what he did was he blocked out the front of it, and when he blocked out the front, he put a bee box on the front, hoping that the queen would come up into the bee box and the bees would start using that bee box. They didn't. They just basically go in, go around all the combs, and right back into the tree. So, yeah, the bees, that's something that, I got to get over my phobia of flying insects before I jump in with 2 feet on that one. So chickens, we did get more chickens this year. I think we have 19 right now. The chicks that I picked up, once they got so big, we decided to take them outside. We added them to the old hens, and no issues, didn't lose any. They didn't fight very much. I watched a video on YouTube, actually, that it's best to add them right before the sun, or right before it gets dark. So when the chickens wake up in the morning, they're like, "Hey, I got new friends here." But yeah, so chickens are doing great. Waiting for the first for the pullets to lay their first eggs. Should be within the next couple weeks. They're about that age now, so yeah. So really, I'm pretty satisfied with everything. I want to give everybody a shout out for subscribing to the YouTube channel. My Facebook folks, I got 450 of you guys following on there. If I could get one tenth of you guys to subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would really bump me up pretty quickly. So I appreciate everybody tuning in and celebrating 211, right? 212 now. 212. Nice. Appreciate everybody tuning in for the 212 viewer celebration, for asking some questions, for chatting with me. You guys are awesome. The two channels that I'd like to give a shout out for chiming in while they were here, Sean in Alaska and the Farming Life. Go check their channels out. They've got great stuff. And, you know, I appreciate everyone. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Talk to you later.